Welcome to Wednesday's Word of the Day. Today's word is half-heartedness. Now, what do I mean by half-heartedness? I mean approaching anything you do in your life, specifically your weight loss and your fitness journey, with anything less than everything you have, without a wholehearted approach. Half-heartedness is the root of failure. Now, that doesn't mean that you will fail if you approach this with a half-hearted approach. You and I both can look around and we can find people who have tackled things in their life with a half-hearted approach, and yet they've still succeeded. But let me ask you, how many times can you point to people who have approached something in their life with a wholehearted approach and failed? You can't find it, folks. If people approach it with a wholehearted approach, if failure is not an option, then they will succeed. Now let me ask you, how many of you sit around and wonder whether it's going to be worth it? How many of you wonder whether you're really going to be healthier when you lose weight? How many of you wonder if this is going to make a difference in your lifespan? How many of you sit around and think, I wonder if it's going to be nicer to be able to tie my shoes without getting out of breath? Or I wonder if it's going to be nicer to be able to walk a couple of miles without getting out of breath? Very few of you are wondering those things, and if you are, you're just in a down moment, because the answers to every one of those questions are obvious. Of course it's going to be good for you to get healthy. Of course your lifespan is likely to increase. Of course you're going to be happier when you can tie your shoes without getting out of breath. And of course you're going to be happier if you could walk a couple of miles and not be wore out. So why in the world are you approaching this with a half-hearted approach? Why in the world are you not giving this everything you've got? Every one of us goes through ups and every one of us goes through downs. But as you look over the whole span of things, are you giving it everything you have? And if not, why are you not doing that? When you give your weight loss and your fitness efforts a wholehearted approach, when you give it everything you have, you will not fail. You will every day, inch by inch, sometimes leap by leap, achieve success. But when you give it that half-hearted approach, failure's always an option in the back of your mind. When you give it a half-hearted approach, you always allow yourself room for discouragement. When you give it a half-hearted approach, you always allow yourself that question of whether you're going to stick with it until the very end. There is quite possibly nothing else in your life at this moment that is more important than getting yourself in a better physical condition. So why in the world are you doing it half-heartedly, folks? Today is the day that we can approach this with a wholehearted approach. Today is the beginning of the rest of our lives. Today is the day we can make a difference. It's time to give it a wholehearted approach. I heard somebody say one time that if you want to get to the other side of a really tall wall, throw your heart over the top and the rest of you will come join. Well, that's exactly right. Let's throw our hearts where we want to be, folks, because the rest of us will be right there. Make it a great day.